My name is Jack, and I'm a passionate angler and all-round fish fanatic. In this series of films, I'm trying to track down and catch 100 different species of fish in the British Isles as I fly, see and course fish for a range of weird species. This week, in the last episode of this season, I'm fishing on the Welsh borders on the wonderful River Wye with my old mate John Bailey for Chub. How are we all doing? Well, today I am on the River Wye, just over the Welsh border, and I've come to fish for a fish you might not expect, and that's chub. Most people come here for barbel. I've come for chub, obviously. Now I'm meeting an old friend, John Bailey, who I worked with many years ago on a series called Mr. Crabtree Goes Fishing. Haven't seen him for 10 plus years, something like that, so long time overdue. I can see him just wading in the river, hopefully going to catch some chub. He's guiding today, but he's very kindly let me come along to see what we can get. So the sun is out, there are fish in the river, let's see what we can catch. You might remember I tried to get chub in an earlier episode of this season on the Itchin, but I thought I'd have more luck here on the Wye. It's July, so the weather was lovely, the river was clear, and hopefully the fish will be biting. Before fishing, I wanted to sit down with John and have a catch up and talk about the Wye. Oh, right, I'm making noises as I sit down now, John, as well. That's good. Well, how the devil are you? It's been too bloody long, hasn't it?
I mean, how long is it actually? It must be 7, 8.
Yeah, got to be that, hasn't it? Well,
Well, you weren't married.
No, I wasn't.
I wasn't married. It's got to be 7 or 8.
At least that. And round about that time, we went on the Wye, didn't we? You were saying it's just downstream of here, and what a change to the river, because I haven't been back on since, and you know, people could probably see.
You haven't?
No, in all that time, and it is
completely different.
Yeah, I mean, I described it as tired, which you sort of said was a bit out, doesn't it? Because it does look a tired. It's still beautiful in many respects, but it's just.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think, as I was saying, I think anglers, because we spend such a long time on the banks looking, thinking, studying, watching, like you found that little bullhead today, which was hats off to you. We're much more appreciative, I think, of what's happening on a river and around a river than people who just walk it or canoe it or swim it. You know, they don't get that same depth of knowledge about a river that a thinking angler gets.
I can't think of many other disciplines where you're in the same spot potentially for 8 or 9 hours and you're picking up on all those micro details, like you know, you watch the wagtail go by or the you know, whatever it is, whereas everything else you're just passing by, aren't you? You're just a guest, whereas an angler's setting up home in that.
I mean, the biggest visual thing which you picked up on, obviously, is the fact that when you were here with me 8, 9 years ago, the river here would have been a mass of white flowers, water buttercups. You know, the ranunculus beds were just astounding. And now, honestly and truly, Jack, I don't think I have seen one pathetic strand of ranunculus in the river all year. And I've got sort of 9, 10 miles of fishing, and that's the only strand of ranunculus I've seen, whereas, you know, before it was just a luxuriant carpet. And of course what's happened is the whole sort of structure of life around the river has collapsed as a result, so there are no swans anymore. All those damselflies we used to see have gone. The invertebrates have crashed. The gravel has gone this sick brown, which is covered with chicken poo. It's the whole river. You know, fewer kingfishers, fewer otters, fewer herons, wagtails, dippers, all these birds that rely on those ranunculus beds, everything's gone. So it's a really quiet, sad reflection of what it used to be.
And what's the fishing been like as a result? You're still catching, I was going to say plenty of fish, but I'll maybe reserve, I'll just say fish.
Yeah. There are still fish there, but it's a complete struggle. And, you know, until fish learn to talk, Jack, we're never going to know. I mean, this might be bollocks, you never know. But I really do honestly, truly think that the amount of basically chicken poo in the river. It just sickens the whole thing. I
Yeah.
really do.
But you were saying that the chub have been showing this year? There's been chub?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Good old Chub.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know.
I'm joking, they'll live in a toilet, and in some ways it is a
In
toilet.
some way they are. I mean, good old Chub. I mean, never disrespect the Chub. I mean, you can. The day that Chub stopped biting is, a bleak day for us all, if you pardon the pun. Whilst everything's wrong that could be wrong, the Chub is still there and the Chub is still growing. So.
Well, that's why I've come to one of Britain's premier barbel rivers to catch a chub. So, shall we see if we can winkle a little chub out, maybe?
It sounds a very fine idea to me.
We headed into the river, and straight away Clay, the client who was with John that day, was into a nice fish. Oh, good man. Good man.
Yeah, just felt that little run.
Yeah.
There's a lot of carp in there as well.
Oh, there's loads in the chalk streams now, isn't there? Well, I knew that would happen. But good man for catching it.
Yeah, do you want to bring it in?
No. I've got to do it fair and square. Oh, thank you for the offer, though.
I'm beginning to get excited now. Whoa! I love this man.
Yeah. I think it's just starting to wake up.
It didn't.
Or maybe it's seen the net.
I don't know. It doesn't look bad.
It doesn't like me.
Wow.
I'm very proud.
Thinks it's a bonefish, doesn't it?
John. Think it's ready?
Ooh.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, look at the size of that.
Wow.
My goodness.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
Shoulders on that.
Wow.
Barbel are absolutely fantastic, and they will feature in the next season of Chasing Scales, where I try and catch some big ones on the Trent. If you like your fish like me, then why not get some of my merch? I've got a selection of merch out, from A3 fish posters to playing cards, and an ID book for sale via my website, with a link in the description. Me and John waded into the river, and I decided to ask John about how we're going to catch these chub. Yeah, basically, John, if you just talk us through this method. So I'm a complete heathen. So this is, what's the method? How do we get them out?
Okay. Or not. In a way, this is a method completely suited to the Wye, I think, because there's so much of the Wye that you can wade and you can get slightly close to the fish. Now, I have absolutely no shadow of a doubt that if you use heavy weights, which is so traditional in barbel fishing, you know, big leads, big feeders, it scares the shit out of them. And over years and years of observation on this river, and this method does work everywhere, I've found that if you put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 swan shot on the line, depending on obviously the depth and the speed, it holds bottom perfectly well. And the splash factor, if you want me just to drop it in here,
Let's have a look.
now that to me sounds very much like that, which is just bait going in. So
it makes complete sense to me.
It's not remotely like that douche of a lead or a feeder. The other good thing is, of course, that surprisingly 3 swan shot really do hold bottom tremendously well, far better than people realise, and the line is pinned down to the bottom, as opposed to if you have a lead you've still got the line through. And if you get stuck on the bottom between rocks, which is very, very, very frequent when you're playing a chub or a barbel, the split shot pulls off, so you're not going to lose the fish or the lead or so on. So it has immense advantages. Because a lot of the time we're wading, we touch ledger, which is a wonderful way of fishing. It's very tactile, it's very exciting, and it does tell you an awful lot about the river that you're fishing, what's going on in the swim. So the basics of it are incredibly simple. You just simply cast out, follow with your rod tip the line as the rig is sinking through the water, going down with the current and finding its position. Then you simply really point the rod towards where you think roughly the bait is lying.
Okay.
Hold the rod very comfortably, nice and easily, sort of just like that.
Yeah.
You can stand there for hours with a lightish rod and simply hold the line like that.
And you're just feeling for
And
the
you are
pluck.
feeling for plucks.
Okay.
You will feel pickups, which you can't really strike. You'll feel line bites,
Okay.
which are the chub or the barbel brushing their flanks against the line, and that becomes a sort of buzzy feel. You will have all sorts of sensations, but as an angler you will know when you have something to strike at.
Okay.
It could be a savage pull, it could be an increase in pressure. There are all sorts of things that instinct will kick in and you'll think, oh, I better strike that, and suddenly you find yourself playing a fish. Then casting out,
Okay.
line immediately stopped.
Okay.
Follow the bait down with your rod tip like that. It's still trundling, it's still trundling, it's still trundling. It's now hit bottom, I can feel it hit bottom. It's bouncing over the bottom and it's now come to a halt. So I'm
Okay.
holding the rod nice and easily. Oh no, it's still moving. The river's a lot more powerful than you sometimes
Yeah, they undercurrents and whatnot, isn't there?
definitely stop now. And I'm really feeling for anything out of the ordinary. As I say, it can be a good pull, little tweaks. I think I had a little tweak then, which can be just a fish investigating the bait,
Yeah, of course.
or brushing the line. And I tend to give a cast 10 to 15 minutes,
Okay.
and occasionally it will just lift and move. Sometimes it's a fish lifting it.
It was starting to get late in the day. John had put clay onto several chub, but for the life of me I just couldn't connect to any. It was the last spot we tried. I cast out and the rod whipped round. It felt not a bad fish at all, and I very gingerly played it in. And it is a chub.
And it is a chub.
Oh,
Whee!
let's get it in the net. Oh. Never wanted a chub so much in my life.
Oh, I've messed it up.
You're a yeah! Come here. Oh my goodness.
Oh, there you go, Squire.
Oh, thank Christ for that.
Oh,
Right,
goodness,
that'll
yeah.
do. Wow, that's not bad actually,
That's
is
not
it?
a bad chub. No,
Oh.
that's not a bad chub.
Oh, that'll do.
No, that's...
Oh,
Hey!
God almighty, they kept that waiting, right. Goodness gracious.
I don't
Okay.
know what...
Well,
I'll get out of the way.
yeah, that's
Wait,
okay.
I'll get out of the
That's
way.
all right,
You
John,
can
yeah.
do your-
Yeah,
You can
well,
do your
there we
bit.
go. A River Wye chub. I worked very bloody hard for, well, John Bailey worked very hard for that, I should say. But that is absolutely corking. Chuffed to death with that. Chub. Well, what a day. This is how it always goes with these species hunt challenges. The really rare stuff like ringnet blenny or butterfly blenny, I catch straight away. But when I try fishing for something like chub or pike, I really struggle. That was proper last knockings. We literally had to pack up like 10 minutes later and I got that cracking chub. Not the biggest chub in the world, I know, 3.5 pound maybe, something like that, but a very welcome chub, and I'm so chuffed to that. So thanks so much to Clay, whose fishing day it was today, for letting me knock in on that, and obviously thanks to John Bailey for letting me gate crash that and have a catch up with him. The River Wye it's still a beautiful river. As we described earlier, it's a tired river, but it's still beautiful, and I am cautiously optimistic that it can do better in the future. It has got to. It is a stunning river and we've got to try harder with it. And hopefully we can see beds of ranunculus and lots of barbel here once again. If you've enjoyed this vid, do check out some of the other species hunt videos that I've got on the channel. Like, share and subscribe and all that usual stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. The series will be back in September. I've already filmed several episodes, and in between then I'll be releasing lots of videos on how to ID fish, aquarium and pond vids, and bonus fishing vids, so stay tuned on the channel. So for the tally, I can finally add Chub. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this vid, why not check out this other video right here? If you can, please subscribe to the channel, only takes a couple of seconds and it really helps me out. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.